Wayne Doorband here for the biweekly NTP CEED webinar huddle that we hold here at our Northern Colorado headquarters in Loveland, Colorado, both live here at our site and also going out over the web to those of you that are watching. Enjoy what we have for you today. Hi, Wayne Doorband here from Northern Colorado, from lovely Berthoud, Colorado. I'll put a question out there. Anybody who is online here with us that knows, gives us kind of a specific of where Berthoud, Colorado is, then you should log in and put your answer in the chat column. And if you're not from Colorado, we'll figure out some kind of prize to get for you. So we are live both on Blab and on a platform called Webinar Jam. And that's what we're going to do today. We are going to simulcast from Webinar Jam and from Blab. And I am fortunate to have two of our amazing staff that are helping with this. I've got Brian Lanzer, who's sitting about 5 feet away from me, who's actually on the Blab screen. As you can see, you're not seeing him, but you're seeing a web camera that we have focused on a screen that we're actually using to show some different things from different websites, and Brian's going to be helping me with that. I've got Deb, who is up in another portion of our offices, who is actually administrating the Webinar Jam portion of this. And we wanted to try this and use both these platforms. We actually did do it 2 webinars ago, and it worked. We tried it last time, and it didn't work. So we had some technical difficulties. Couldn't really figure out what they are. Brian, am I coming through all right on voice there? Just give me a thumbs up if you are on Blab. You're hearing me fine? Okay, good. And Deb, you're hearing me on Webinar Jam. I'm going to switch back and forth between the tabs. And if you are, maybe write in the chat that you are. Please put your questions, if you have them, in the chat columns on either Webinar Jam or Blab. And if you would like to come on with us, you just have to indicate so at any given point in time, and we will allow you to come on screen with us and chat with us. So right now, I know that we've got some people that are just watching, and we'll look to see if we have people that will come online officially and if they want to take a seat with us as we move along. So what we're going to talk about today is a transition. We are going to move away from doing the bi-weekly, every first and third Wednesday of the month, Economics in Action webinar. We've actually been doing these webinars for about 4 years. We skipped about a year, a little less than that, during 2013. So for all of 2014 and now finishing up 2015, we have done these every other week Webinar Jam sessions, and we've used the platform Webinar Jam, and they've been amazing. We have had speakers from all over the world, from Norway, from Africa, from South America, from all over the United States, Australia, Graham Reese from Australia. Trying to think where else we might have missed, but literally in most places in the world. And they've been awesome. There are replays of all of them that are online. You can find them. And Brian, you might just switch to the portion of the site that gives webinars. I think it's over a little bit further there. There you go. Go to webinars. And Brian's going to just show you a little bit on the screen here, just to give you some examples of what some of these titles are, where you can find them. So if you were to go to the Nourish the Planet site, which is nourishtheplanet.com, Brian, maybe in a little bit, you can just type that into the message section. That's the website that we're looking at, and Brian is going to click on webinars. Here they are, and just different examples of ones. This is one of the more recent ones that we did with Mike Warren. And we've got one, I'm looking over at the screen is why you see me looking sideways here. Oh, I can see it right in front of me. The next one's Teresa that we did. And then this is one that I did a summary of a number of things back probably a couple months ago. And then there's one that we did with the Lavrov guys, an amazing fish farm in Africa, tilapia. Truly one of the outstanding stories. Let me just give you real quickly here. The gentleman you're seeing on the screen here is Fola, but his partner, Robert, is a survivor of 9/11. He was on the 72nd floor of the World Trade Center when the Trade Center was attacked. He actually ran down the stairs and was saved. And I won't go into more. If you want to hear more of that story, go and watch that webinar, which you can just go online and watch. Brian, is there any more on the page there? There's Aja. Did an amazing webinar about her business, which is called the Soul Train. And you'll just, again, go in and watch that. Next one here is, wow, this is a very cool one with Nancy Urbeck. Nancy is the ex-dean of the agriculture school at Colorado State University. She is now in the admin department, sort of semi-retired. She's also a heritage breed sheep breeder and has given a lot of information about that. Brian, would you put on your chat, just on the little message, that the Nourish the Planet website, so nourishtheplanet.com, so anybody that wants to can go visit that site. And again, if you're here with us on Blab, you're able to get to that site directly. Again, I'm going back and forth between the two different systems. Deb, if you would put up the Colonomics site on the screen for this one, that'd be great. And that way we can also be viewing that. So as I said, we're transitioning. This will be the last of these every other week webinar sessions that we'll be doing. Again, we've used the platform called Webinar GM. We're still going to try to use that alongside Blab as we move ahead. And Brian's still scrolling down and just showing you some examples. We're getting farther back in the year now of different people. Who do we have here now? There's Elizabeth Moser, which was about local food. Is that right, Brian? I think so. She's the owner of what's called Loco here in Colorado, where they are a distributor for food in the local area. So we're going to transition away. No more every other week, because we're going to do more of these. We're going to do a lot of them. We're going to actually now be doing them with our partners. So Brian, would you put up on the screen the tab that you've got open for AHC, Alternative Health Concepts? So Brian is switching to another website. Maybe, yeah, there you go. This is the Alternative Health Concepts website, and maybe put the web address for that down in the chat, if you would, Brian. This is the website for one of our partner companies, and we are going to start doing Blab/Webinar GMs for our partner companies on a more frequent basis. So we have already done 2 weekly webinars for Alternative Health Concepts, and we'll be doing those on a regular weekly basis. And you can actually do a search on Blab and look for Alternative Health, or Mike Warren is actually the fellow who's Blab site that it's going to be done. He's the principal, the CEO of Alternative Health Concepts. So we'll be doing specific webinar Blabs on a weekly basis between now and the end of the year. And we may do it on a Monday, may do it on a Tuesday. After the first of the year, we're actually going to get to a regular schedule where we're doing them every Monday, let's say, or every Wednesday on a weekly basis. And we'll be interviewing experts in the health sciences area. So you'll be able to come and listen to those experts, interact with them, ask for a seat if you'd like to on the Blab, and you'll be able to work with us in that manner. Another one of our partners, Keyhole Academy, Brian's going to switch to that one now, is in the education space for real estate investing. And a little bit different than some of the groups that we work with, because most of the others are very specifically involved in the what we would call the green space. And this Keyhole is certainly, we think that there's green related to properly investing in different kinds of real estate assets, but it probably is on the fringe of being a borderline in that area. But again, we're going to start doing regular Blabs, probably not on a weekly basis initially, but on a regular basis. And Brian stopped there on the page. Sherman Arnowitz, who is the author of the book that you see on the right-hand side here, is an Amazon best-selling author. That book is an Amazon bestseller that you can actually get for a fairly large discount right on the Keyhole Academy site. He'll be the guest host along with myself and Bob Christador, who is one of our partners. And again, there'll be a regular Blab session for that and for Keyhole Academy. I'm not sure whether Deb has got this one up yet on the other site, but I asked her to see if she could find this would be on the Webinar GM platform, if she could find the development site for restoration agriculture. So Brian, actually you could go to it, just put in RAD Pioneers, RAD Pioneers.com. So Brian's going to be bringing up what is the current website. We are in the middle of modifying this. So there we go. So this is RAD, Restoration Agriculture Development, and another one of our partners. Right now, the principals in RAD, Mark Shepard and Jeffrey Caston, are over at the Climate Summit in Paris. And Mark is actually one of the keynote speakers at that conference. And he will literally be our partner as we do workshops all over the world. He just finished a workshop in the Netherlands. In January here in Colorado, he'll be doing a workshop at Sylvandale Ranch. Sylvandale is one of the pioneering websites, not websites, physical sites, agritourism sites. It's a site that even presidents have stayed at. It's been around here in the northern Colorado area for many, many years. And so Mark is actually going to be doing a workshop there. Maybe if you could, maybe just scroll or just look on the site at another one of its different things. It just shows the mission statement and so on for the company. We're in the middle of redoing this website right now. As you can see, it doesn't have a lot of color in it. Here's another picture, though. This is actually of a grassland area where the whole idea is you can do restoration of this, and instead of it being, and I'm pointing to the screen here, instead of it just being one tree and a bunch of really kind of harvested and now planted forage area, instead you could see more of what would be the native mix of this site, which would be a combination of prairie as well as agroforested areas. So we'll be doing regular webinar GM sessions with them as well as Blab. So Brian, one more website, go to Laveroff Farms, or is it, it's either Laveroff Farm, I think it's Laveroff Farm, OFF dot. Maybe it's just Laveroff.com, but I don't think so. I think it's Laveroff Farm. Let's try that. There it is. Yeah, that's it. So it is Laveroff. There we go. So there's a website for this group. Laveroff Farms is the one that's headed up by the gentleman that I mentioned, Robert Campale, who is a survivor of 9/11. Out of literally a heartfelt gesture and effort on his part, he has formed Laveroff Farms in Ghana, and it is a tilapia production farm, and you're seeing net pens in the distance as I point here out in this area. I'm not a very good weatherman. I'm trying to do it and look at my own screen, but in those areas, those are actually places where fish are being cultured right out in there. And curious, Brian, if there's any way you can, there's any way you can zoom that. There we go. Yeah, there's a bigger picture of it. So the fish are out in this area. Those are actually what are called net cages. So that is another one of our partners that will be doing a number of different of Blab and webinar jam sessions with. So again, you can see right now, I think I've named 4 or 5. We're going to be busy doing these kinds of things. We think this is the platform of the future for interaction. And we really want to encourage you to both come with us live, come on with this on these sessions, visit them as replays, and just get engaged. While we're doing that, Brian, I want you to look for one more, which is going to be to do a search for progressive gardens. Just do a search for progressive gardens. And this is going to be another one of our partner groups. Now I'm going to do one more after this. That would be it. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's going to be it. Yeah, this is their website. So I think they're still, we're actually going to help work with them, and we're going to be redesigning this website. It looks like it's got lots of things. Maybe go on Learn there, clicking. Or is it still loading?
No, I think
it's loading. I think that obviously this has got some design that it's still going through right now. And Deb, I'm just looking and seeing whether you're putting anything else up over here. It doesn't look like you are at this point on the screen for Webinar Jam. So Brian's showing the Growers Guide that's coming soon. Obviously, this is their site that they're still developing. I think they have another one, Brian. Go back and go back to the search term again, and then I think they call it there's another name, progressive something else. Let's do the search and look at it. Not their Facebook page. How about progressive gardening? Try that one. Yeah, this is them also. So this is showing some of they're in Wilmington, South Carolina, and they have a local farm, and they also are doing some amazing things with soil improvement. They are using a process of enhancing the soil with micronutrients naturally, with microbes, and using the natural biology of the soil to greatly increase the nutritional composition of the soil and what it would add to the plants. And so that's one more of our partners. And then I'm going to go to one last one. We actually have a number of them. But Brian, go to alpaca-gold.com. This is a Colorado-based company out on the west slope of Colorado who is already marketing. This is, again, a website that we'll be redesigning and redeveloping. They are marketing a product that is a unique preparation, their own proprietary preparation to create a fertilizer with alpaca manure, alpaca poop, as it were. And you see some pictures here of the product in the bag. And again, we're going to be partnering with them. We're going to be helping them in their product development and working with them in marketing, and very quickly going to be working on a new website for them. So again, that's the big picture of what we're going to be doing moving ahead. We're going to have multiple Blabs and essentially webinar jam sessions when we can make sure we get it working for the whole webinar jam side of this equation. And it worked well today. So again, you're not necessarily seeing the slides right now unless Deb's bringing them up. I am staying on the Blab platform because I can point over at the screen like that when I need to, and show you different things there. And Deb's in another part of our location, and Brian's been putting up all these websites. The very nice thing about this Blab platform is that this chat session will stay on the screen if you go in and watch the replays inside of Blab. As we edit the replays and put them up on our own websites, you actually won't see the chat because we don't have that in the version that we use to do the upload, which is actually gets sent to us through YouTube. So another really cool situation with Blab is that we are able to utilize YouTube as a data collection point for us, a video collection, and then we can edit from there. So Brian, let's go back and watch something a little bit. Pull up our webinar that you edited from the Blab session. Pick one of the more recent ones that you did. Probably the one that you did last week, maybe for the session with Dr. Warren, because I want to show you what Brian's done editing wise with them. We're not going to hear it probably, but you'll be able to watch it a little bit. So notice that we've got. Are you making it to where we can hear it?
Yeah, I'm going to try.
Brian's going to try to get it to where we can hear it. So notice we have a little inroad. No, that's what I was afraid of. You're too close to me. That's all right. You don't need to watch it. No, I want him to see this just to show him this. We start, and then maybe I will have you. So now this is the screen you would normally see for a Blab session. Notice that we had 3 or 4 speakers. Mike Warren was the co-host along with me, and he was actually speaking now. And you're going to see how Brian's done a little bit of editing. If you know where you've got some things edited in, you could fast forward a little, Brian, but Brian's going to fast forward some and just show us some other parts of this. So there, that was an editing process. Obviously, we didn't have that transition, and that's their product, BioPro Plus. And so Brian was able to put that into the video. So this video is playing in the background. So I'll just maybe we'll see another place where he did a transition, just so you can see how the editing occurred. He's going to another one now. So we were talking about a racehorse and how the BioPro Plus product was initially developed to be used with racehorses. And this is just an image that he put on from Santa Anita, which is one of the famous racetracks out in Southern California that Dr. Warren has worked at for his whole adult life. And it was just to show. So we're able to add some images that are really nice into the replays. And again, you can access those at the Nourish the Planet site that we showed earlier. We'll be having a place on each of these individual websites for these individual companies where we can do that also. So I think I'm going to do another little transition here, just because we've got the technology set up here today for this. I'd love it if we could get Deb to log into Blab on her computer also. And Deb, if you're listening, which I know you are, I would say we could risk that we could be terminating the, yeah, Deb put up a bunch of the URLs here also, very cool. That we could risk if we have a technical problem and we end up having the webinar jam fail, because it's working for me where I'm having both of them. Would you go to Blab and go into, see if, and it'll have you register through your Twitter account, because I want to actually talk, here's the transition. I want to use a little bit of this session because we've got about a half an hour left here, where I teach you through this video how to get onto Blab, how to do things on Blab, how to use these platforms, how to see some controls on your computer even, because I'm going to have Brian put these up on his even so that we can see them in some of the settings. Let me see if I'm seeing one of them right now. Are you seeing? You're not seeing the video camera, are you, on your URL bar there?
It's on this one. I'll be dragging it over.
Well, we'll do that later. But what I want to do is show people how they can get onto Blab. I did a little Blab about this yesterday that actually I haven't uploaded to YouTube yet, but because it needs a lot of editing. where a very, very kind fellow in Scotland, who is a co-member of Blab here. I see somebody else just came online, by the way. Who is it that just came? Deb, you came online. Very cool. So we've got Deb, and I actually am already following her. So Deb, why don't you type in the chat here on Blab if this is still working fine on Webinar Jan. I'm going to stay here on Blab so I can see what Brian's putting onto the screen. So we're going to take a little bit of time and do some teaching. And we're going to teach old school. For those folks who, for whatever reason, I'm going to guess because you're a little bit older, you do not have a lot of experience using these high-tech sort of platforms. So Twitter, yeah, to be able to get involved with this platform on Blab, you have to have a Twitter account. So I am going to see if Brian can try something on his screen, which is to go into Twitter, Brian. But sign out of your Twitter account, which might be a problem because it might sign you out of Blab. So let's see if it does. Let's see if that creates a problem as Brian does this. It might sign him out of the Blab session. If it does, it's fine. You can come back in, Brian. But did you sign out? Okay. Create a new account, which I think you'd be able to do just because you can have multiple numbers of accounts and you can get rid of it later, but let's show them how you do it. So Brian is now on Twitter, right? This is just www.twitter.com. And I don't know that you can see that on Brian's bar because it's probably just a little bit too far away, but it's just up here in the corner, right there on your scroll bar. And this is in Chrome. You're going to see where it says www/ by the way, it's another one. Try, if you're old school, you're using www all the time. Start using http:// to get into websites. And then you don't have to even use the www. So Brian is now in the process of, don't go further yet. I want to walk you through it, all right? So he's just now on Twitter, and it gives two options up on the right-hand side over here. And he's clicking now where he can either log in or he can sign up. And he already has. Do you have more than one Twitter account, Brian, or just one? He's got one Twitter account. So he's going to create a new one for himself right now. So Brian, go ahead and click on sign up and just put in your full name. And Twitter allows you to have multiple accounts. Some of these platforms, Facebook, for example, does not want you to have multiple individual accounts. They want you to have one personal account, and then you can create pages which are business related or nonprofit or so on underneath by using that one account. Twitter allows you to do multiple. So, and then, just put in what you're required to, give it a password, Brian. So it asks you to put your name in. So Brian put his name in, and he's putting in a phone number. I don't think you need, or an email. So you can do that if he wants, or you can put a phone. That's optional. So one thing, old schoolish, is that if you're looking at these and they have little asterisks by them, which again, you probably can't see on the screen that Brian's got up, but you have to, those means it's not optional, it's mandatory. If there's a little no asterisk, it's optional. He did put a phone number in there, so now he's ready to click and sign up. So now it says that he's going to have a verification code sent to his phone. So there's a good point. If you wouldn't have known that, and you put that phone number in there, and let's say it was not so he's actually, oh yeah, look at this. Yeah, see, that's one thing we could be doing too, Brian. He just showed you the number with the camera that we have. And so he's going to put that in. A great point. If you do that and you do it from your home phone, it's a text message. So, and they don't tell you that. They really should say that you need to do it from a mobile phone. If you did it from a landline, you're not going to get it. So then that's why they want you to put your email in there, because they will send it to you by email. So he put that code in there, and now he's ready to verify it, and he will get that. And now he needs to put in an email address, which is going to use for the account. And again, you could have multiple email addresses. Multiple email addresses. Do you all know that you can have a lot of email addresses? Not recommending that you have tons of them, but I probably would recommend that you have more than one. You can get multiple, as many as you want, email addresses on Google, for example, on Gmail. You can also do it on Hotmail and others of those kinds of sources. But Brian's now put in his email. He then chose a username because he set up a second, right? Is your first one, did you call Brian Lanzer 1, B Lanzer 1, or
also,
whatever it was?
Also, it will tell you it's taken. So I'll suggest what you can use.
All right.
Just click it.
Yep, and that Brian just made a great point. I don't know if you heard it because I'm on the other mic. Well, no, actually, I'm on the bigger mic here. You probably did hear that. Brian said that it'll give you a warning and tell you if it's taken. So he put one. So that one's already taken. If you put in 2, then does that say it works?
Yeah, because then it has the suggestions.
Okay. Oh, cool. So you just click on it. It gives you suggestions. You can click on that. So he's now done that, and then he clicks next, and it says, let's go. Now, once this is done, you are now ready to go in and log in Blab. And you know what? Well, no, we don't want to do that because you're already logged in. Actually, you could do it on your phone, though. And so Brian could log in and take another seat here, for example, through Blab by logging in with his second Twitter account. And we've done that. We will do that at various times on our accounts. We'll actually use one line to be putting it on our cell phone. I'm actually going to do it and show you on mine. So I'll put it in front of the camera there. So on your phone, there is my phone, and you can see getting a little glare. There we go. You can see the Blab icon, which is right there. And I'm going to click on that. So notice that it now is in the Blab account, and it's listing. So I'm going to actually log into it because I have a second ID, and you're going to see that I'm going to show up on the screen twice here. So I'm going to go at Wayne Dorban, actually at W Dorban. A search. So it's doing a search, and guess what showed up? The one that we're in right now. So I'm going to click on that, and it's showing that is online. And if I were to on the Blab screen now, you should be able to see in a second that I have entered. And it doesn't say that I'm here yet. I'm going to notify my Twitter followers. And actually, it doesn't look like, I'm going to say, let's click on that. And it's, you know what? I changed this, and this is, I came in on my phone on the same account. So actually, I'm going to get off of the phone here now. I'm going to go off on this one. And I'm going to hang up. On your cell phone, it tells you to hang up. And I'm going to go back to Twitter, and I'm going to log in a different account. So on your phone, you could go in and you could log in a completely different account, your second Twitter account, and that would allow you to come in as a different seat. So I'm not exactly sure. I don't think I have to switch on my phone. I think I can do it directly from the phone without, I can sign out from Twitter here. I think I hit the settings like this, and that screen will show up. I don't know if you can see that there. There we go. little bit of a glare. And I would switch accounts. And I would come in. I'm not going to mess around with doing this right now. I did find out one other thing, some other little tips. Brian did this earlier today. Maybe you could even go back into the Blab. I'll go back to you. Don't go to Blab because it will be seeing duplicates of each other. Actually, you're on the screen. Do that, Brian. Go to the Blab where you're seeing, just so they can actually see that they're seeing that on the screen. Seeing both of them here. So that's another screen that Brian's got up where it's actually showing the Blab. So it's sort of a picture of itself. But there's a help session, right, Brian? Where do you go to if you wanted to get some help while you're in a Blab? Up in the right-hand corner?
If you do add help,
so where would you type add help? In the send a message?
Yeah, you just do add help.
Okay, we don't want to do that now,
Right.
I don't think.
But that's what you do.
But that's what you do. So I'm just going to type some other things down here in the send a message and say, go to, go to at help on the question. I hope it won't take me there now. To get help with settings for Blab. So I'm not going to just put add help in there now because I think that would take me right to it, right, Brian? So I think the way I did it, it's not going to pull it up here. But so why don't you go back? So you saw us set up a Twitter account. Before you do that, Brian's using another really cool tool that we use a lot of. I don't know that I assume he would use it here, which will use LastPass, and he can click the save the site, and LastPass you can see on the screen. He just clicked on it. It goes to his LastPass account, and he can save it. So actually, why don't you pull up your LastPass account, Brian? I'd save that first, but then pull up what the screen looks like for LastPass. LastPass is the coolest site, and we're going to it right now. You're seeing it on the screen, that you could use to provide both security for yourself, more importantly for somebody like me who's got hundreds of passwords, hundreds of accounts that are password protected. You can set up very easily for free account it says a trial, but it's actually download free right here. So that you can put all of your passwords and all of your shared information that you want to keep secure in LastPass. It'll keep those there for you. It'll allow you to access it, and then you could share sites with friends, obviously somebody who's trusted, so that you could actually be able to access things without sharing a password, without sharing the login information. All you do is just share it on LastPass. And what happens then, and Brian, could you show somebody, just go to something on your LastPass vault. So go to your vault, so log in. So he's going to log into his LastPass now. And it's loading all of his sites, and he's got to put in his logging in now. And here's all of his sites. You can see there, you can't probably read them as well, but you can see them. And he could go to any one of those, just pick one, do one of ours like EasyVSL. This is actually a tool to use to create software. No, well, it already did it. It did so fast because he didn't have to put a login in. He didn't have to put the password in. It's already in there. So he's now logged into the site. And he can go into, you notice, Brian, that because I bought the upgraded version, I haven't told him this. Did you know that we now have 2.0? So you can be going in to see how that works there. So, we're a little bit short today. Honestly, the intent here was to make this a transition so that we could talk about what we're going to be moving ahead. We don't have a huge crowd with us today. We didn't expect that. We actually wanted to keep this a little bit smaller. I'm going to go back over to Webinar Jam real quick and see what questions there are there. Doesn't look like any new questions. I never did say, Deb, whether she put anything. Deb, were you seeing everything? I'm getting a little echo. Audio's okay, you said. And then you said getting a little echo. Deb, could you come on again and tell us whether you're getting an echo now? Put it in the chat section, the message of Blab. By the way, is it Blab or is it Blab? I've heard people online say both. Audio is fine right now. Okay, that's very cool. And is audio fine on Webinar Jam? Just put it on this message. Put it on the Blab message. Say whether audio is fine on Webinar Jam. Yes, it is. All right. So looks like technically that everything we were doing today has come off really good. Like I said, I know there's some people that are lurking on Blab and listening. I hope this has been good for you. We're going to end up a little early today, a little quicker than we do other times. We wanted to talk about the transition. Remember, come back and watch replays. Tell people about this. If you enjoy this, if this is good for you, other people you know, it would be good for them too. And the cool thing about Blab is, again, if you're on the Blab site, you see there's open seats. You could come in right now if you were here and we could open it up and we could have a chat. You could ask questions. As we have guests on our Blabs that we're going to be doing, our webinars that we're going to be doing, all these partner companies, there will be guests. And you don't just have to send them a chat message. You can come in and talk to them. And if you watch the Blabs that are going on right now, and if you were to leave this section, you would go click on the beta where it says Blab Beta, actually a picture of their icon, and it says beta. It'll show you all the ongoing Blabs. Go in there and look at them. And you'll see that there are people coming on and off with questions and answers, talking to the guests and to the hosts. So, like I said, I think we will call it quits for today, and we'll be back with the next one for sure that I know of, which is the Blab that we do next week for alternative health concepts. And again, there will not be our every other week anymore. We're going to start doing many, many more, but they're going to be for specific partner companies. Please come to our websites, economics.org, nourishtheplanet.com. Those two sites will give you really great insight into all the variety of things that we're doing. But let's put up a couple more, Brian, to end here. Put up raisinrootsfarm.com. You can close down some of those others if you start getting too many on here. I think it's Raisin Roots Farm. Raisin Roots is actually one of our local partners. Raisin Roots is a market farm up on our ranch in Colorado, and it's loading now. And it is as it says, pesticide-free, mindfully grown, local vegetables, local fruits. And we just went through our first season as farmers on that farm. And it's a little over an acre. This next little piece talks about our Celebrate Sustainability event that occurred in the fall. Here's some pictures of the farm that you're seeing here. Pictures of the team. Lots of info. We're looking for CSA members for next year, Community Supported Agriculture. Here's a group of the partners for it. Mountain Sky Ranch. Just click on that picture of the alpaca there. Actually, it'll take you right to the site, I believe. Yep, here we go. So this is actually the alpaca farm that is resident and a partner with us. Deb and I are actually the owners of that farm, and it's another one of the partners that we have. And there are all kinds of very cool things that you can find by going to our sites. So I think we'll sign off for now. Appreciate you guys hanging here today and listening with us and watching us. And we got all the technical glitches worked out for today. Hopefully when we come back and do the next one for AHC next week, and as we do many, many more, literally you'll be able to listen to and watch something that we're doing with one of these partners on a regular basis. Brian just brought up a map that shows kind of where we're at in the world, if you were to click on that. But it's a little ways from there. That's actually showing Bertha. It's showing where we're at right now. It's a little bit that way. Anyway, you probably can't hardly see that anyway. I think we'll sign off. Deb, you can log off in just a minute from the Webinar Jam. And we will talk to everyone when we see them again on AHC or Keyhole or Lavera Farms or Alpaca Gold or I'm Radlands, all of them, right? Restoration Agriculture Development, different companies that we're working with. Anyway, bye from Northern Colorado. Talk to y'all later.